Burgundy Network podcast.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Burgundy Network podcast. After a very stressful win, Brian, it seems like that is the main trend in every single game this season is stress as we edge out the Falcons 34-30. How you feeling about this one, Brian? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling kind of like, man, I don't know, or because we expected to win? Or are you still kind of hype about it?
Yeah, I was pretty excited. I mean, maybe being there a bunch of times when they couldn't beat Atlanta here in Atlanta. I was super excited to be there. I get they should have definitely played better, but I'm still excited about it. And I don't think you have to apologize for a win. You can certainly learn from it, but it's way better being 2-2 than 1-3.
Yeah, or 0-4, which we could have easily been if you.
You're right.
If you watch all the games, but guys, this one was a lot of points in this one. I bet the over in this one, which was definitely easy to do, and I hope you all did too. Which brings me to the sponsor for the show, Bet Online, and it's been an action-packed season so far in NFL, especially last night with a little weather delay going on with the Chargers and Raiders. I had some of those bets going on too. It was a really weird game, like over-under a weather delay in a dome. Wouldn't be looking good.
So real quick, I heard it's not technically a dome. They have like a canopy over it. So it's not technically a dome from what I heard.
Atmosphere or something?
Yeah, it's weird.
All I know is they're going to be playing Super Bowls there, so they better get it together. But guys, Bet Online is the number one source for all of your betting needs this season with a new updated site. More odds, props, and contests. Bet Online just keeps getting better, and it is so much fun. Even these other games that I have no ties to, just throwing down little bets so you have something to watch and root for the whole game. All you have to do is head over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus by using the promo code BELIEVE. That is BLEAV, and you get that extra bonus. All you have to do is sign up today and start playing because the season's not going to be slowing down, especially here in Washington. Got a lot of good games coming up. So this Falcons one, I really looked at it. I told people all along, like, I feel like for me, this is a game that we should win. Like, expectations set by us, by the team, by the media, all preseason long said the Falcons, the way they've been playing so far, is a team we should beat. Should. Now, I know things can happen any given Sunday. It's the NFL. You just never know. But would you agree with me saying that the Falcons are a team that we should beat?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they didn't look good. They're kind of in a rebuild mode, even though I don't think they're going to say that. You know, hearing that, being down here, I don't think I've heard them say that. But, you know, you got a new coach. You're trying to figure out if Matt Ryan still has anything left in the tank. You don't really have a lot of weapons outside of Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts. Cordarrelle Patterson proved us wrong there, but I don't think you expected him to be a legit weapon. But, yeah, absolutely a team that you should beat. The defense is not very good. So, yeah, it was certainly a game that they should have gone in there. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know, dominated, which they obviously did not. But, you know, at the end of the day, they did come out with a win, so you can't be too upset. But you feel like going into it, you probably should have been a little bit farther ahead of the Falcons. But, you know, I'm not going to complain about a win because, you know, getting a win is getting a win. We talked to Brian Finneran last week. You don't have to apologize for a win in the NFL. It doesn't matter if it's against a winless team or an undefeated team. You don't have to apologize. So I'll take the W, but it certainly seems like they should have been a little bit farther ahead of where the Falcons are.
I agree with you. And the funny thing that I'm going to enjoy about this episode is a couple things we don't agree on. So we'll hit that first, and then we'll talk about the one thing that everybody agrees on, and that is the defense. And obviously some special teams. The roller coaster of the special teams was as good as possible and as bad as possible.
Peaks and valleys all over.
Yeah, so let's talk about that first. I actually had that last on my notes, but I think we should talk about that first because it's been an interesting topic. First off, DeAndre Carter, who's been in the league for seems like a long time, just bouncing around these teams, scores his first ever NFL touchdown on one of the most unexpected times, the first kickoff after halftime. It's when like everyone's like settling down in their seats, you know, getting concessions. I'm at home eating something. I'm like, oh shoot, like he's gone. Like he's actually taking that back to the house. Were you there like in your seat when it happened?
I was not even in my seat yet. I was still out and about. So I hear this dull roar and I look up and they have screens everywhere so you can still watch the game. And it was all the Washington fans were going nuts in the tunnels. So that was, I mean, I wanted to see it, but it was kind of cool to see it from that angle, hearing like the roar coming and people cheering in the tunnels and all that. But yeah, that was pretty awesome, especially with the way the defense played going into the half to let the Falcons come right back down the field and score a touchdown right before half. For Carter to take it right out of the gates in the second half was awesome. And yeah, I was surprised by that. I feel like I've heard his name forever, and that was only his first career touchdown. So good for him, and it felt good to see it happen. And he made that number 1 jersey look good as he was flying down the field.
Dude, I love it. I love that 1 jersey. And yeah, like you said, it was, go ahead.
And a key part, I don't know if we're going to get to this, the punter is their kickoff guy, and then he was out after that. I think he pulled up kind of lame trying to chase him down. Yeah. So Koo had to punt a couple of times. And they were ugly, but
yeah,
they got some good bounces. But that was an interesting factor in that I didn't realize until I was like, "Koo, why is he punting?
And why is it going only 15 yards?"
Yeah.
But like you said, the defense let Cordell Patterson score one of his 100 touchdowns right before halftime. 14 seconds left before halftime. They took a 17-13 lead, and then DeAndre Carter was like, "Nah. Guys, we're not going down like this." Ran that one back, made it a 19-17 game because Hopkins missed another extra point. So let's talk about that. DeAndre Carter, awesome, but Hopkins, it seems like Ron swears this is his guy. I'm starting to get confused. I'm like, what is the line? Like, what exactly does he have to do to not be the guy? And missing 2 extra points in the same game, which hurt us at the end almost, put more stress on the teams where it could have been a lot easier win for us if we make those extra points. But obviously they bring in Chris Blewett, who we'll talk about, sign him to the practice squad, another kicker. Who knows what that means? Who knows if he'll even, compete for his job? We have no idea. But my question for you is like, what does Hopkins have to do for Ron just to be like, all right, yeah, we need to address this kicking situation because it does not look good?
I feel like he's waiting for his kick to actually cost the game.
Well, what if the Giants didn't go offsides? What if that cost us the game and that was it?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know. It's like Ron really wants it to actually happen, and that's the only way he's going to get rid of him. Because I don't know how you see this and think that he is a confident kicker right now. And I know that there were some personal issues with him. I think his brother-in-law or something like that, which you hate that. But if his mind is not in the right place, whether or not he's a good guy, whether or not he's a good guy, I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with, I don't know. I don't see it. And to miss 2 extra points, it's just absurd. And the only kick he did make was and the only kick he did make was a chip shot. I've heard that, he's decent under 50. Well, NFL kickers are hitting 55-yarders like they're nothing. And I feel like he has a 0% shot of that happening. And I don't get it. And I root for him because he's on the team, but he's going to cost this team a game, and he probably should have already, maybe twice now. I don't get it at all. I believe in Ron Rivera, and I believe in trusting your guys, but I also believe in kind of what I see on the field, and he has been really bad, and I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe maybe that's a wake-up call. Maybe it's more realistic than, they brought in Pinheiro a couple of weeks ago, but he was released due to injury. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I thought about so much. Like, what if he did miss that kick and there's no offsides and we just left that Thursday night game go 0-1 in the NFC East? It's just a gloomy game. It's another loss for us. We're sitting at 1-3 now because of Hopkins. Just like another one of those games. When you go back to like the Bengals game and so on, there's so many games, even last year, there's like 2 or 3 that he cost us.
Well, and what if the Falcons hit a Hail Mary there and then all they need is an extra point to win, where it could have been 37-30 or it could have been 38-30. I mean, it could have very easily cost them on Sunday. And I was like dreading the fact that that's what it was going to be, because I couldn't believe we were going to sit here and talk about a kicker, an idiot kicker, I think is what Peyton Manning said one time. But yeah, I don't get it. It doesn't seem right. And, I trust Ron that, he's seen him day in and day out. But when this is what he's doing on the field, I don't know what you see there.
I mean, think about it like this. Fourth quarter, after that Mike Davis touchdown catch, they go up 30-22. Should have been 30-24. And then, of course, Terry McLaurin scores with 4 minutes left. It should be at that point 31-30 Washington if we make those PATs. You're playing with the lead. Yes, J.D. McKissic scores this crazy touchdown with 33 seconds left. But, like, if that doesn't happen, then you lose the game because you're not up by 1. Like, Atlanta should have got the ball back with 3 minutes left and some change, playing to win the game. Like, fighting, not, keeping the lead, but fighting to score, which they didn't. Obviously, we got the ball back and won the game, but it's just something to think about because it can cost us games. But we're going to look at that. But the one highlight, which has been surprising to all of us, we expected to have a good offense this season. Obviously, things change week 1 with Fitzpatrick going down and Heinicke coming in. So let's talk about the offense and what it's really looked like so far. And specifically this game, which I'm calling the Terry McLaurin game. And then we'll talk about a couple things that we don't agree with, and that's okay.
I love that, man. No, I love that, man. Terry McLaurin. My goodness. I'm going to call him top
10 Terry. You can call him Terry, Scary Terry, whatever you want. Love his shirt, by the way. I got to get one. But 6 catches, 123 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And the thing that stands out to me is how he's catching these balls. Like, it's not like wide open. It is contested catches, and he leads the NFL in contested catches by all wide receivers. He is going up and getting these like turnover-worthy plays that Heinicke's throwing, by the way, or these double coverage guys in traffic, just these hard-to-catch balls, and he's just making it look easy, especially the one against the Chargers, like when he can't even see it, reaches behind him and gets him. And then he's doing it again with that little Hail Mary in the back of the end zone where he's like waiting, he's getting tugged a little bit, has to jump forward and get the ball like last second. I mean, there's just so many things to this guy's game. And the thing that's evolving so much is his route tree and how much he's really, different plays. Like, he's not just cutting across the middle and then busting, for like 67 yards like we're used to seeing. He's going downfield more finally. He's stretching the field out and getting these longer passes. How has Terry looked this season so far, and why is he the best player on our team?
It's unreal, man. I just love watching him just because of how humble he is, and he just always does the right thing. He's always in the right spot, which he proves when he's making these unbelievable catches, and when he will not have a catch on a drive and then all of a sudden have 2 huge ones for first downs, and all of a sudden they're in the red zone. I mean, it's just kind of how he is, and it's awesome. And the contested catch thing is unbelievable. If I told you that there was a receiver that was leading the league in contested catches, you would think a big guy like DeAndre Hopkins or even Julio Jones, even though he's lost a step. You'd think one of those big guys, but Terry McLaurin's 6 foot and, maybe 6'1". I don't know what they have him officially listed as, but they're probably lying, whatever it is. So you probably take an inch or 2 off of that. But yeah, he just goes up and he plays tough and he plays bigger than he is. I mean, he probably should have gotten knocked out of the game. It looked like he was going to be, came back in. I mean, he's just everything you want in a football player. And I'm just so glad that he's ours. And yeah, he just is amazing week in and week out. And it was fun to watch it in person again.
Yeah, I loved his little locker room speech after the game too. After he got one of the game balls,
and it was really cool because I feel like we've seen him evolve from that. Like, we saw him as the quiet, just do my work his rookie year, and then he was like, oh, you know what? I'm one of the best players on this team, and he started to speak up. And I feel like he's dominated ever since because he's like, oh man, I can do this. I can hang with these guys, and I'm as good as, if not better than, most of the people I'm going against each week. And man, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, let's keep it with wide receivers. I want to talk about Curtis Samuel. Like, he didn't have the biggest stats game, but just seeing him out on the field was encouraging to me. I think he looked good. I mean, like I said, he only had 4 catches for 19 yards, but he had four targets. He had a couple first downs. I think he had like 2 or 3 first downs.
One was a 4th down.
Yeah, 4th down conversion. So big plays, but he looked good to me. And like we talk about, he's going to take attention off of Terry McLaurin because you have to account for Curtis Samuel. But I just think his strides, the way he was running his routes, he looked so much better. I don't think he's 100%, obviously. I think he's still like in that 75, 80% range. So I think we're going to see more of him each week, just slowly getting pushed back into this offense and just seeing more of his big play abilities, which I think is coming. Just seeing him like on the field with our jersey on finally, I was like, oh yeah.
Playing the air guitar before the game, that was awesome.
Just vibing on the field. I love it.
Yeah, but it looked like he was on a snap count or a pitch count or something. According to footballguys.com, he only played 25 snaps. So that's 37% of the snaps. So it seems like, Yeah, they eased him back in, and but you're right. It wasn't like he was a decoy. He was part of the offense, and he had some huge plays, and he made a guy on that fourth down. That fourth down route was pretty to get wide open. But yeah, he's just gonna. Hopefully, they're gonna ease him in a little bit more this week, a little bit more the week after that, and then I think soon this offense will be humming to where they really have to account for not just 17, but 10 as well, and that'll be exciting.
Yep, you got to count for 41 too. Joshua Dobbins, one of our favorite guys here on the podcast, as we know. JD McKissic. And I keep telling everybody, and what makes me so mad, I'm going to go on a slight rant. People are like, why is JD getting the ball and taking targets away from Gibson? Like, not even just like fantasy guys, but Washington fans, like, why is JD keep getting the ball? And every time he gets the ball, he makes a big play. And it makes me so mad. People are like, well, I want to see Antonio Gibson run the ball more. Like, JD McKissic single-handedly won us 2 games. The one catch against the Giants up the sideline, which is a beautiful pass by Heinicke, but just a great route and a great effort by JD McKissic. And then once again, this game-winning touchdown, leaping from like the 4-yard line with his little body.
Yeah.
Like, people put some respect on JD McKissic's name, because people are saying stop giving him touches because we have Gibson. It is okay to have 2 really good running backs. The Patriots won Super Bowls near the end with Tom Brady because of how many running backs they had on their team.
I've got 2 things there. I was one of those guys. I was like, why is Gibson coming out of this game? But every time I said that, on Sunday, McKissic would rip off a 6-yard run or get a catch and make somebody miss. And then obviously the touchdown. So I'm done saying that. What I'm now about to say, though, is let's get those guys on the field at the same time. I mean, have we ever seen 41 and 24 out there? I mean, maybe a couple times. But like, it would be awesome to have them both out there. You got to start accounting for all these guys. The way, we can talk about Taylor Heinicke all you want, but he spreads the ball around pretty decently. Obviously, he's looking for Terry pretty heavily, but he's going to get everybody involved if they're open. And if you got 2 guys that are good out of the backfield, why not use them at the same time? So that would be my challenge to Scott Turner as I'm sitting on my butt watching the game, and he's actually calling a great game. That would be my challenge. Let's get both of those guys on the field. Let's get our best playmakers on the field. It's kind of like, the Giants used to just have like 4 pass rushers on their defensive line, not D linemen. Let's just get our 4 best playmakers out there. Why not? Just go out there and run a route and get open.
Well, and I think we'll see more of that. I think we'll see more of JD McKissic in like a receiver role once Curtis Samuel is at 100% and he's like running the ball from the backfield, stuff like that. I think we talked about it before the season. I think we'll see Antonio Gibson, JD McKissic, and Curtis Samuel all be in the backfield and play like a wide receiver role and just rotate. That's such a great weapon to have, because offense is like, all right, either Curtis Samuel's running the ball or Antonio Gibson's going out for a, little slant across the middle, or JD McKissic's going on a wheel route on the outside. Like, it's so spread out. You just have no idea what's going to happen.
And then you completely catch him off guard and go deep to Terry, and you're like, oh,
exactly. And then we dropped 60 points a game. So yeah, JD McKissic had 5 catches on 5 targets. Awesome. And then he had 7 carries. Wasn't too impactful in the run game, had 15 yards. But I'm just looking at like touch count. Gibson had 14 and 2 catches. So like, I think Gibson has a slight edge, which is good. Like, I want him to be the running game, but like, I don't mind JD McKissic running the ball or Jarrett Patterson, like fresh feet. Because Jarrett Patterson and JD McKissic, especially this week, showed that they can pass block. So if you bring these 2 guys in, it doesn't mean, they brought in JD McKissic, they're definitely running. Or, Jarrett Patterson's out there, like, it's a run. No, like, JD McKissic, I don't know who it was, but blew that guy up on that blitz.
Yeah, he had a free shot on Heinicke. I was like, oh, boy. And then all of a sudden, the guy disappeared.
Yeah. He was about to baptize him in the name of Raising Cane Sauce, and JD McKissic just, boom, blew him out of the screen. I loved it. And then Taylor Heinicke just came up in the pocket and threw a ball. So kudos to JD McKissic.
Yeah. I think I saw maybe Pete Haley tweeted, JD McKissic did a Reddit Ask Me Anything, and he got annoyed with the fantasy talk. He's like, listen, I don't have a say when I go in, and I'm not trying to steal the ball from Antonio Gibson. We're both trying to make it happen for the team. I like that answer. I think football players need to realize fantasy is a huge part, but not in that case. Not when you're both playing well. You don't have to apologize for anything.
Hey, I got JD McKissic and Gibson on my team, so I don't care.
Not a bad idea.
I don't mind it. I had JD. He was on my bench this week, which sucked.
Cordarrelle Patterson cost me a game sitting on my bench.
Really? Oh, my gosh. But I'm 4-0, so
Good for
Riding
you.
good. I only play one fantasy league every season because I can't have like multiple ones because I can't like root against guys and
I
stuff.
hear you.
That's like my philosophy. I have to only do one. So let's talk about Taylor because he was a hot topic and I said a lot of stuff. I got a lot of hate and respectfully so, I'll own up to it. You and me were texting about it and we disagreed with it. And I'm glad. And I just want to start out by saying, like, I love Taylor Heinicke, and I think he is the hot hand right now. We are winning games. We are seeing stuff we have never seen in a very long time at quarterback. But I gotta watch what I say because I'll get a lot of backlash. The thing I notice about Taylor Heinicke is like there's so many things. Like I'm rooting for the guy, but there's so many things I am critiquing because I see him throwing these ill-advised passes. And the only reason I say this is because I want to see what happens against good teams. Like I saw what happened against the Bills, against the defense, like throwing these awful picks and just, second guessing himself and just not making these decisions. And I'm like, we can't have that against big teams. Like I said, the Falcons are a team I'm expected to beat. Him having a good game against the Falcons, who do not have a good defense. That's probably the easiest defense we had left on our schedule, honestly. The Chiefs defense sucks too, but I think the Falcons were one of the worst defenses left on the schedule. So I expected him to ball out. And I still saw some really bad passes that I was like, oh, man. Like, he almost got Gibson killed on that one pass who was dealing with a shin injury, and he got nailed in the legs. And I was like, oh, God, Gibson, he's out. And then same with Terry McLaurin, got hit that one time after he threw him super late, led him right to the DB, got hit. He went down. I'm like, oh, man. Like, we're about to be down Logan Thomas, Terry, and Antonio Gibson. But luckily, they both weren't hurt. And there's a couple times Terry McLaurin bailed him out. And I will say, leading the league in contested catches is what happens when you have some of these ill-advised throws. There's like 2 or 3 passes that should have been picked off. Like the safety was coming up, and Terry was just like, nope, I need that. Like, you're not getting that. Or he played defense. So I said that, got a lot of backlash just because I said, I think Taylor Heinicke is a great quarterback for now. I think he's the hot hand. My expectations for him was like our backup quarterback because of Fitzpatrick. I think he's outplaying that. But the thing I had such a problem with is people were like, oh my God, Taylor Heinicke, that was his play against like Terry McLaurin. I'm like, y'all, he should never throw that pass, like a punt in the back of the end zone with two DBs. Like that was all
on first down.
Yeah, first down, trying to win the game. That was Terry McLaurin coming back and being a top 10 wide receiver, doing what he's going to do. And I get it. He got away from that pass rush, broke the tackle. That was all Taylor Heinicke. But like that pass, I literally had someone say that's what he wanted to do. That's exactly what he was trying to do. Terry was wide open super early. Burned the dude. The guy was literally laying flat on the ground, had to get up. And he missed
a penalty too.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Oh, yeah, easily. Oh, easily. Absolutely. If the chase hit, which we'll talk about, was a penalty, this had to be like attempted murder on Terry McLaurin, which is the only way you can really cover him. But like I pray to God we can win so many games with Taylor Heinicke, but like I'm still for now in the mode of like I really wanted Justin Herbert.
Oh,
I mean, not even just like him exactly, but I don't know. I feel like I'm in the middle. I don't hate Taylor Heinicke, but I'm not like the biggest Heinicke fan because I want him to get better.
Well,
I don't know. I'm torn.
Here's my thing. You're absolutely right with a lot of what you said. He should have thrown another pick on the field goal drive. He basically threw it into Harmon's hands and he dropped it in the end zone. So there were certainly some risky plays, and we've seen that already this year. I think that's kind of what Taylor Heinicke has been through his, 5 starts now. But I think that he's somewhere in the middle. I don't think that he is the quarterback of the future like some people want to think that, we found the next Tony Romo or whatever the comparisons may
Warner.
be.
Oh,
right. I don't think he's there. But I don't think he's some undrafted kid that shouldn't be out there anymore. Like, I don't believe that anymore. He is proving against maybe some bad defenses, but still against NFL defenses that he's legit and he can make some legit plays. I agree with you that was 100%. Terry McLaurin's 2 touchdowns were all him. I think the J.D. McKissic play, he made a good job of staying alive and then finding him late.
Yeah, like 8th or 9th read, it seemed like that was. I feel like that was equal. That touchdown. Him getting out, moving, just finding the open guy. J.D. McKissic backing away from the coverage, kind of getting out of the way, and was like, all right, I pray to God Taylor can see me because as soon as it catches, I'm gone. I feel like that was a 50-50 play. Like, I respect that. I agree with you. Like, I'm not anti-Heinicke at all. I hate not seeing Terry McLaurin or J.D. McKissic get their roses on those plays because they absolutely help out the quarterback. And then people say, oh, well, if Pat Mahomes does that, like we're rooting for him. But like people are like, oh my God, Tyreek Hill is dirty on that play too.
Yeah. Well, here's one thing is that like I've seen Washington lose that game so many times before.
Oh yeah.
They settle for the field goal. They don't complete that third down pass to McKissick, and they miss the field goal, or they make the field goal and Matt Ryan goes down. And all he has to do is hit a field goal. Like I've seen that recently. I mean, I feel like this team has been close before, and a lot of the guys that tried it out there just have not had it in them to go do what Taylor Heinicke is doing.
Fall over.
It's working right now, and that's why I'm going to ride the hot hand. I'm not gonna get too excited. I don't think he's a Pro Bowler or an All Pro, but I also don't think he's some scrub. And I think that NFL defense has got to start preparing him for him. So I'm going to be excited. I think that there are some fans, and I'm not saying you. I think there are some fans that are so pigeonholed into an opinion that they can't allow for them to be right or wrong. They make up their mind on a guy because of one thing. They say, oh, he was undrafted. He didn't even start in the XFL. All this stuff. Absolutely true. But there's a chance a guy can evolve. Yeah, it doesn't define him. He's going to make mistakes, but he's also won them 2 games, and he's been a huge part in those 2 wins. I think that both of those can be true. Where I hear you, he definitely has some improvements to make, and he's got to make those if he's going to continue playing in the league. But right now, he's by far the best thing that they have at quarterback, and potentially the best thing they've had at quarterback in 3-4 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And that's why I'm so like 50-50 on it. I will say but my big test, he has a huge test coming up. First off, New Orleans defense is legit. I think Marcus Lattimore still hurt. We'll talk about that on the preview show, but Kansas City, bad defense, but really good team. Green Bay,
it's gonna be a shootout. You're going against the best offense in the league potentially.
Exactly. Green Bay at Denver with a great defense, really good secondary led by my guy Patrick Surtain. Green Bay, a little bit banged up, but still, it's that rematch game that everyone remembers from you. Like it's such a big slate. There's so many tests for him coming up, and that's what I want to see. Can he go out and beat the good teams like Buffalo?
Let me ask you this. I'm just asking for anybody. What would it take for you to be not for the guy of the future, but to be like, okay, we've got a shot this year. Like what over this stretch, what does he have to do? Does he have to steal 2 wins? Does he have to get 1 win and play well in the rest of the games? I mean, like what's going to get you on board? I don't think he's the guy of the future, but on board for the rest of this year.
I mean, I'm 100% cool with him being a quarterback for the rest of the season because he wins games. It just concerns me that people are like, oh, we're not drafting your quarterback. We have our franchise quarterback.
That's silly.
Oh, please hit the brakes. I love him to death, and he wins games. And if he goes out and just completely tears it up this season, I think we still draft a guy super high, first round, hopefully in the top 10 if we trade up, whatever, doesn't matter. And have them go at it and compete, and then the best guy wins. But for me, stretch wise, it's not even a certain amount of games because our defense is so bad. I don't want it to be on the result of the game because if we lose games, it's going to be because of this defense, which we're absolutely going to talk about. But for me, I just want to see those things that I don't like get better. The ill-advised throws, the high passes. He sails passes, which is kind of weird because he's shorter. And his decision making, especially against the Bills, I get it, you're playing from behind, but you have to know when to not throw these terrible interceptions. And like we said, he could have easily had 2 passes picked off. If those passes go to any other wide receiver on our team, I guarantee you it's getting picked off. So I just want to see better decision making. I want to see him not, throwing our wide receivers in a harm, which he does pretty often. And then just keep doing what you do really good. Keep running the ball. Keep making plays with your feet. I don't care what any coach is telling you, play your game because you're winning games, and that's going to keep me happy. If he keeps winning games, then I'm cool with. Like I said, I hope he does start the whole season. I would rather him start the whole season than Fitzpatrick come back in 5-6 weeks,
right?
Because then what's Fitzpatrick going to be here next year? I don't know. Is Heinicke going to be here next year? More than likely, probably. Yes. I would hope so. So for me, I want to see this gauntlet of teams and how he goes against it, what he does, and how he evolves the whole season. This is his first season just starting as an NFL quarterback. And that's what I told people. He's not a rookie, but he's also not this vet in the league. He's 28. He's been on a couple teams, bounced around, XFL, a couple NFL teams. I just want to see what he does to progress the rest of the season. Like, I have this standard for him. It is, and like, I should be being harsh towards Heinicke because he's not at his best. That's good. Like, that could be a good thing. Like, I think he could get better. It's not like, oh, this is his ceiling. Like, I hope not. Like, I want more. Like I said, he has to beat those good teams. So I don't think I'm wrong for being harsh against it. I don't think I'm harsh for seeing what I don't like, because if he like gets that even better, then I'm like full blown. I'll go buy his t-shirt.
Yeah, hype train will be ridiculous.
Yeah, but like keep winning games, and I'm going to get behind the guy. Was I rooting his name Thursday night? Absolutely, because I think he balled out and he did something for the team that we haven't had in a long time. So it's a lot going around with Heinicke, like on Twitter.
I think both sides need to pump the brakes. I don't think we have the quarterback of the future, but I don't think this guy's some scrub that is in over his head.
I think there's a perfect median of Heinicke's a baller. Could he get better? Yes. Is he like franchise quarterback material? I think it's still left to be discovered.
He still only started 5 times. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Like I said, I'm not going to give out any more. I was mad in the moment during the game because I saw him overthrow Terry and Terry went down. And as soon as that happened, I was pissed. I was like, you cannot do that as a quarterback. Like, that is your responsibility to protect your wide receiver, especially your franchise guy on the teams. Like, I was pissed. So like, y'all forgive me, but I tweeted out a mean tweet. I was like, I called Heinicke a bum. He's not a bum. I take that back. But I was just very in the moment because I love Terry.
Oh, no.
with all my heart. So, but I'm right with Heinicke. I think that he does more special things all season long. And someone that's not going to be doing anything special anytime soon, apparently, is the defense, which did not make any improvements. And I said this Monday, like, I wasn't as hyped about this win because I don't see any progression from the defense. Like, if I saw like we balled out, like it was a hard fought win, like we beat them close, but our defense like had a good effort, I feel like I would have felt different about it. Like, am I hyped about a win? Absolutely. I'd have been so mad if we lost this game to a Falcons team who, like I said, we should be beating with our talent on our team. But like, do you agree with me saying like you feel like you're kind of holding back, you're a little bit reserved in how excited you are because you don't see that step up with the defense?
Yeah, it was certainly underwhelming from the defense once again. I think a couple of guys made some splash plays. I mean, Jonathan Allen, again, was probably the best defender on the field.
He's the best defender on our team.
Yeah, on our team. And I was going to say maybe on the field for both sides.
Oh, yeah.
Montez Sweat got a sack. I feel like they played the run okay.
I feel like the run defense was really, like, especially against Mike Davis. He was like, what, 12, 13 rushes, like 14 yards?
But, I mean, the fact that you let a journeyman, half wide receiver, half running back do that to you in Cordell Patterson, I mean, it just was absurd. The tackling was awful. So, yeah, it was underwhelming. I do think there were some, not positives, but like some hope that they're getting it right. But it still looks bad enough to where I'm with you. I don't see what they're doing during the week that they're doing. They're not. It doesn't seem like they're doing anything to improve it. And I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if it's communication. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if these guys aren't buying in, if it's a little bit of everything. But it just certainly seems like something is off. Bobby McCain was wild, arguing with the media. I mean, they're going to write about you guys being – you were a top 5 unit. Well, he wasn't, but this team was a top 5 unit last year. Of course, they're going to write about the fact that you can't get off the field half the time. So I don't know where that's coming from, but I don't know. It's very strange. It seems like there's too much talent there to be this bad, and they just week in and week out are not getting the job done.
Yeah, about the Bobby McCain thing, I want to say, like, the media, like obviously the podcast, like groups, whatever, like hyped up this defense so much throughout the offseason without even seeing a play.
Rightly so, because they dominated last year.
Yeah, against pretty sucky teams.
Yeah,
but still,
sure.
Like, we saw people united, people were playing together, people were getting turnovers, getting to the quarterback. So, like, don't be mad that we spend, like, 3-4 months talking about how good this defense is going to be. And it's, getting ready to be week 5 and our defense sucks. Like, you can't be mad at that.
Yeah,
like, what are we supposed to say? Hey guys, the defense isn't exactly what we thought it'd be. We're sorry for misleading you with all these articles and stuff for 3 or 4 months. Like, it's getting there though. There's some bright spots. They're trying.
That's the thing, is that it's not a couple of weeks. It's not a bad start. This is a month's worth of games.
OTAs,
we've
mini
seen
camps,
it.
training camp, everything, preseason, and 4 regular season games, and you still suck on so many different levels.
And we said I was nervous that Matt Ryan was going to look like his former MVP self. And what does he do? 4 touchdowns, all 4 to running backs. At the same time, it's just absurd, man.
Yeah, Ridley.
And I know, and we mentioned, Ridley could have had a huge game. Kyle Pitts had a bad catch on the sideline where he didn't get a foot down. It could have been worse. And we talk about the penalty, and every team gets bad penalties against them. So you can't say like, oh well, they should have had a turnover, or Chase should have had a sack. Every team can say that every week. Yeah, exactly. It's just I don't get it.
I could have won the lottery if I played it every day.
Right. I don't get it.
But I didn't. But yeah, I think the defensive line was much better. Like I said, Mike Davis, I just looked it up. 13 carries for only 14 yards. He did have that one touchdown catch where the entire team missed the tackle.
On third down, too, by the way. That was on third down. That's how bad that was.
Yeah. Ooh, I wrote down a stat, by the way. Where'd it go? Yeah, Atlanta was ranked 26th on offense on third down conversion, and they started the game 7 for 10 on third downs. Not ideal. I think they finished 10 for 16, and Washington finished 4 for 9, which 4 for 9 is not the best, but still, Atlanta being one of the bottom tier teams on third downs on offense, and they started the game 7 for 10, 70%, is not ideal at all. But that's exactly like the blueprint and identity of our defense. So let's talk about, obviously, the linebacker core. John Bostic goes down. He's out for the season. But was playing terrible, by the way. Yeah. Cole Holcomb had a much better game. He was actually getting to the ball. He was making tackles. He was reading plays. He was more instinctive, which is the word we hear a lot in the pre-games. Like, what's wrong with the defense? They're thinking too much. They're not reacting. They're playing okay. In practice, coach said, I have to do this. All right, let me make sure I go step by step real quick. Instead of just being oh, okay. I'm reading the offense. This is what's getting ready to happen. Let me go stop this.
If you see if you see the ball going one way, go after it. Don't think about what you should be doing or where you're supposed to be. I got to
stay in my zone.
Go get the ball.
Coach is gonna be pissed if I leave my zone. No, go get the ball. Stop the runner. Go get it. If you cause a big play because you were wrong, okay, then you just need to study the tape and fix it next time. But don't be oh, I think this is what's happening, but I'm gonna second guess myself and not. I'm just gonna stay right here. That's even worse because you're holding yourself back from making plays and from learning and be oh, dang, I was right. Boom, check off in my mind. I was right on that one. So I don't know. It's frustrating. But the most frustrating thing of the day, well, there's 2. The first one, obviously, Chase Young, the penalty on Matt Ryan. First off, I want to say, Chase Young, why the heck are you not tackling the guy? Yeah. What causes you to say, let me just try to push him over?
The one thing, watching it back, it looked like he maybe was trying to go for the ball, it's not an excuse, but maybe he was trying to knock it out because it looked like he was trying to push, but also hit where the ball was at. But at the same time, wrap him up. It doesn't matter. It's fourth down.
You're not playing patty cake with the football.
You're going to get the ball if you bring him down, regardless if you knock it out or not. It's fourth down. Yeah, I'm with you. That was awful, but that was one of the worst calls I've ever seen. Even still.
Yeah, that was flat out terrible. Pushing him in the chest, a very delayed fall to one knee and I
don't know. I don't know if that was supposed to be a sack, a pick. I don't know. It shouldn't have been a penalty. Whatever it wasn't a penalty.
Yeah, and him picking it off, by the way, stupid. It's fourth down.
That's what I was freaking out about. I was you just gave up 15 yards, and then I'm
20 something. It was a lot. So I was gosh, IQ is not there on defense.
That was Bobby McCain, by the way, the guy that wants to talk about. Make sure you write it down. Well, I'm writing down the fact that you
watch the tapes, Bobby.
Yeah.
That was terrible. But yeah, when I first saw that, I'm why did he not tackle? Then I remember sitting there Thursday night when he gets called for bringing down Daniel Jones as easy as possible, put a pillow under his head, and he gets called for
he got fined for that later on. They fined him for that.
So was it PTSD from that? Saying oh, let me not give up a first down here with a roughing the passer, and then it happens anyways. Dude, I'd rather you just take his head off. If that's gonna happen, just
get your money's worth.
Yeah, put him on the ground at least, bang him up a little bit. So that really made me mad. But the number one thing that made me mad was the freaking Cordell Patterson touchdown with Landon Collins on the other side of the field. And I'm glad a lot of people like agree with me on this. Like, didn't Landon Collins miss a tackle? Absolutely. Was he running full speed, full momentum towards Cordell Patterson, who literally the slightest juke move would have missed a tackle? Yes. Like, why do you put Landon Collins in a man coverage on the opposite side of the field with Cordell Patterson, who balled out all game? And you're like, hopefully Cordell Patterson like comes across the field and like comes to his side. No, he's going the opposite way of Landon Collins. Now Landon Collins is forced to run full sprint towards this guy and be like, look, I got to risk it all. If he scores here, like that's on me. And literally the slightest juke just sent Landon Collins, kept going. And like, it's just like people are like, yep, that's another Landon Collins missed tackle. Yes. But why do you set him up to fail so bad? Like what makes you say, yeah, Landon, you're going to be Cordell Patterson, but you're going to stay on this side. You're going to be a man coverage on the opposite side of the field. And then hopefully he comes over to your side and then you're just going to come down on him. Not like, oh, they're going the opposite way. Like it blows my mind.
Yeah, it's coaching, it's position, it's a little bit of everything. It's so frustrating. It doesn't seem to be getting any better because we see these mix-ups and these bad positioning, these bad communication every game, and it hasn't changed and it hasn't gotten better. And I don't know how you flip that switch. I don't think it's something that happens week to week, and so it's just feels like it's going to continue to happen until. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe, I hope John Bostic is okay and heals, but, maybe it takes a new guy coming in there, or, whatever it may be, but something's got to change. I just don't know that it will.
I mean, we've seen everything. We've seen bad coaching. We saw Bobby McCain bite on Kyle Pitts when Cordell Patterson was wide open across the top, and he owned up to that, rightfully so. And then we've just seen terrible schemes. So, like, we've seen bad coaching, bad player performance, bad schemes. Like, we've seen everything. So, I don't think it's, like, one thing.
Right.
I think it's everything at once just mounting up and, like, going off of each other, making it even worse. But I will say, like, the D-line playing better. Not, like, phenomenal. I'm not like, oh, yeah, that's that D-line. But much better is, like, a good first step because it's going to help out the back end. Now, it doesn't help when John Bostic goes down. Maybe, to each their own opinion. Obviously, don't wish injury on anybody, but, like, does it help out? I don't know. I think we see more Khaleke Hudson, and I think you just have to take the training wheels off of Jamin Davis and just say, go. Go be a freak athlete. Go learn in the moment. If you mess up, so what? It's not going to get any worse. Unless you're just
at the very least, you're fast enough to hopefully make up for it.
Yeah. If he catches the ball, you should be there quicker than John Bostic. So defense, looking at this next game, I feel like we're going to talk about the Saints. We're going to have a guy on tomorrow night. I'm going to drop it Thursday night. John Hendrick from Believe in Saints from the Believe Network, who's going to talk about the Saints offense, which is really weird. Like, I feel like the whole Saints team is really wonky. I feel like they're like one of the best teams and then also one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Did I see that Kamara didn't even have a catch last week or something like that?
That'd be wild.
I don't mean to put it on the spot, but yeah, it does seem weird. Like, they beat down the Packers and then all of a sudden, a couple weeks later, they lose to the Giants of all people. I mean, they let the Giants come all the way back, which you wouldn't expect from the Giants. And then it's like, is Jameis the real deal or is it Jameis who we thought he was all these years? Like, it is very strange. So it will be interesting to hear what he has to say.
So you have New Orleans, Kansas City, Green Bay, Denver, Tampa Bay is the next 5 games. So good offenses. Like I said, the Saints, Michael Thomas is still going to be out. So not the best offense, but Alvin Kamara is still, capable of having 6 touchdowns in a game, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously the Chiefs, the best offense in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, the Broncos, who are one of those hit or miss teams too. And then you got Tom Brady and the Bucs. Like, I feel like they'll be much healthier at that point too. So, like we said, it's a huge test for Taylor Heinicke, but such a big test for this defense. Like, this is the stretch of you have to play your best ball.
Right.
And we're going to find out exactly who you are. I think the Saints next week, it's probably the worst team we play in the next stretch. Like I said, those next 5, 6. I mean, I don't know, maybe the rest of the season because Cowboys are good. Maybe the Giants, Eagles, obviously in the end, but
you can't look too far ahead because then you'll psych yourself out. But you got to realize, you got to take advantage of some of these teams that aren't super great, and especially your home games. I know there might not be a huge home field advantage, but there is in the fact that you don't have to travel. So take advantage of that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. You hope the defense can rise up to the occasion. Maybe they've kind of smelled themselves a little bit to start the year, and hopefully it's a gut punch and they turn it around. But yeah, it's going to get hard real quick.
Yeah, like I said, we'll have one. John Hendricks, we'll talk to him tomorrow night and drop it Thursday night. So you can catch that to get a little bit of insight about this confusing New Orleans Saints team. I'm looking forward to it because I don't know who the heck they are. So I'm interested to see what he says about it.
Kamara did not have a catch, which is strange.
Wow. It's probably the first time ever since like Pop Warner.
Right.
The dude catches everything going back to Alabama. But guys, appreciate y'all checking in on the episode. Like I said, it was a stressful win. Learned a lot. Still have a lot to work towards. I say we have to win like 2 or 3 of these next 5. I mean, you have to if you want to, stay alive throughout the whole season. Going into the NFC East. Yep, you got to win some of these big games. Like I said, Heineke, love you. You're winning games. Beat one of these good teams, and I will be full on the train. But the defense has to help out. We will catch y'all Thursday night for the preview episode. Like I said, this episode is presented by BetOnline. Check it out and sign up today. BLEAV. Get that 50% bonus. Brian, I'll see you tomorrow night, sir.
See you, brother.